As of that night of April 6th, the Hutu set up barriers and checkpoints and started massacring Tutsi. This was done throughout the country in order to make sure everybody heard their call for violence. Personalities of the entourage of the president at the time set up hatred media, as we call them, which exercised a huge influence on the Rwanda population. There was television which preached hatred, saying, "You're not the same. These are enemies." There was them, the Tutsis, and us, Hutus, and they had to die. They also set up a newspaper called Kangura with the 10 commandments of the Hutus. You should not mix with a Tutsi. You should not marry a Tutsi woman. It was a total separation. They preached hatred, and they were listened to by everyone. This was true propaganda, which had consequences in 1994. I am now the executive secretary of the Commission to Fight Genocide. I also worked as a prosecutor, and I know of cases following that propaganda of mothers who killed their children, children who killed their mothers, because in our laws it was said that the child took on the ethnicity of the father. So if the father, as an example where a Tutsi, the mother was a Hutu, some children identified with one parent or another. So we had mothers, Hutu mothers, who, because of that campaign, because of that hatred during the 1994 genocide, who killed their husbands and told the children, "You are enemies if they look like the father," and they killed them. We have young sons who identified with the father, who was a Hutu. The mother was a Tutsi. Because of that campaign, because of that propaganda, they killed their mother.
That hatred and the incitement to hatred in 1994 caused over 1 million deaths. Women, children, men, everywhere. There were barricades everywhere. People were killed with machetes, with hammers in some regions. People had to buy up bullets so that they wouldn't be killed. That situation, that hatred, still can be found, as in the case of anti-Semitism on campuses, in schools, abroad. There are some foreigners who still think that Tutsis are liars. That is how they have been branded, as liars. There are still people who incite to hatred. Genocide perpetrated against the Tutsis in 1994 took place, even though it was said that 50 years after the Holocaust that it would never happen again, but it did happen again. The Honorable Mr. Kotler said yesterday, that it was a genocide that should have been avoided, and it's true. The Rwandan genocide should have been avoided and prevented. But what do we do now? The policy that exists now is one of reconciliation and unity. Commissions are being set up. There are no Hutus and Tutsis. Everyone is Rwandan. The commission, for which I am responsible, to fight genocide, tries every day to send messages to everyone, to students, even to prisoners, about what genocide is. It's not a spontaneous act. A genocide is something that is worked up to, and we speak of the Holocaust as well. We also have days of commemoration in April. We have programs in schools. And we talk about the genocide against the Tutsis, and we mention the Holocaust as well in that context. In conclusion, I would like to say that fighting anti-Semitism is something that everyone should do. Anti-Semitism is a worldwide phenomenon. It must be fought. And other negationism must also be fought. When you talk about the denial of genocide of the Tutsis, I would also like to ask this assembly, if possible, to create legislation and enforce legislation in order to stop the perpetrators of genocide that are in various countries. I would like to thank a number of countries like Canada, Munyanesa. The trial, Munyanesa's trial, took place here, and there are countries like Belgium and Sweden and other countries that have helped. I would also like to request that days of commemoration be earmarked. There is the Shoah, but also I'd like to have a day of commemoration for the victims of the Rwandan genocide. I would also like to thank other countries that have taken steps toward such days of commemoration. After hearing the recommendations, I would like to highlight something in particular. Africa, the proposed programs come from elsewhere, but I think we also have to look at Africa and see what's happening in Somalia. Islamism. I think that what's happening in Somalia and Central Africa and the Maghreb as well, it's important to act preventively, to take precautions. So I would like to say that we must cooperate, we must act with solidarity toward each other to fight anti-Semitism, hate speech, racism, and intolerance. And I will tell you that Rwanda supports you. Thank you.
Monsieur le ministre.
décision.
Merci.